Today, we'll be engaging with 4 gentlemen, 2 of whom will be here in person, and 2 of whom we will engage with virtually. May I invite onto the stage Mr. David Abe and Dr. John T. Manful. Please come in and sit almost to my left and to my right. They said, so if I'm Jesus Christ, what are they? I've just left it. I just asked if I'm Jesus Christ, who are those to my left and my right? We will also have by electronic links Daniel Kofi Ando, and then Mr. James Ebenezer Kobna Datson. But let's welcome again Dr. Manful and Mr. David Abe. Please let's acknowledge them again with a hand clap. We'll start with the senior boy. Yes, it's working. It should. Yes, please, Father. Bring the mic volume there a little bit. Please, tell us your name and which year group you belong to.
I thought you said that already. My name is John Manful, and I belong to the 1977 year group.
Wow. Which meant that
I have some of my seniors right here, so it's not wow yet. There are more senior boys in the audience.
No, which means that you left the school 2 years before I came to Form 1. And I think I'm old, so you are... Thank you very much. Please introduce yourself.
My name is David Tetame Abe, and I belong to the MOBA 90 year group. So I'm very young.
Well, MOBA 90, I think you should call me Grandpa. Doc,
yes.
Why are you running to be vice president? Sorry. Isn't vice president? No. Oh, he's running to vice president. No, Doc, why are you running?
Okay. I wouldn't say that it's because the new constitution of MOBA mandates that each decade group should have a representation on the council. That is a requirement, and I think that it is important that MOBA as a family, we see ourselves as a family, and we see ourselves as a multi-generational family where we've got people from the very young people who are about to leave school and the older ones all coming together. So I put up myself forward after elaborate discussion with my year group. I'm the vice president of my year group, and I'm the representative of my year group on the council. And it was as a result of consultation with my year group and other like-minded old boys that motivated me to put myself up.
And David, why are you running?
Okay, thank you, Ace. I am the current president of MOBA 90 and one of the founding reps of council since 2015 when the new constitution was promulgated. I have worked National Council work. I believe that I should be able to offer myself onto the National Executive Committee from just a member of the National Council so that I can bring my expertise, my experience, and my exposure over the years to bear in promulgating a new constitution, in repositioning MOBA into the to the next level, because that was the idea behind the new constitution, which the council passed way back in we asked a strategy document to be prepared way back in 2015. And one of the strategic objectives in that strategic document was the promulgation of a new constitution which will be in line with the Companies Act. So that is what we've done. And in May this year, we passed the new constitution. And some of the things that we are seeing now is as a result of the requirements of the new constitution in repositioning MOBA to meet the aspirations of the group. And to me, I believe that I will be in a position to help establish those governance structures to make sure that whatever we are putting on it after we are all gone will be very solid. So that's basically what I'm doing.
Thank you very much, David. Well, if we also have online Mr. Daniel Ando. Mr. Ando, if you can introduce yourself to everyone and tell us why you're running for office as a decade rep. I believe we have Mr. Ando online. Hello, Mr. Ando. Should I say what they normally say? Please unmute. That's the new word. Very well. Let me know when Mr. Ando is ready, so we don't lean back on the time. And so let's get back to those who are on the platform with me. Please, when is he ready? The light is behind you, so I can hardly see your gestures. He's on. Oh, hi, Mr. Ando. Please tell us your full name. Okay. Please tell us your full name and your year, and tell us why you are running for office, sir. Hello, Mr. Ando. Can you hear me? I don't understand the hand signals. Tell me what I'm to do. Should we go ahead? Mr. Ando, can you hear me? Okay, can we try Mr. James Datson? Very well.
I believe we have Mr. Ando online.
Yes, I am here. Can you hear me?
Very well, Mr. Ando. We all know your name, but please mention your name to
Hello?
us, your year group, and tell us why you are running.
The host, can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you. But can you hear us? Okay, either Mr. Datson or Mr. Ando. Any one of you who hears us can take the platform for now. Very well. Let's continue on the platform. Now, what is your understanding of MOBA and its relationship with the school?
Well, I think that, well, we all know what MOBA is, that's why we're here. You know, some of us, when we were in the school, we looked forward to a few items on the school calendar. And one of it was the speech day, when old boys showed up in school. And we always looked forward to the old boys coming to school. They served as an inspiration to the boys. And we tried to get closer to those of them that we knew, who are our seniors who had left. And those who were much older that we didn't meet in school, we tried to find out who they were, and they told us all kinds of stories about them. And there were times when old boys came to speak to the boys, and they served as a motivation. So for us at that time, that was all what it was about. And every now and then you saw an organ here which was donated by MOBA X, or you saw an item there which was donated by MOBA year group Y and Z. But over the years, MOBA has gotten much more involved in the running of the school, in fact, in the very existence of the school. Because if you extract the contribution of MOBA from Mfantsipim as it is now, very little will be left. So MOBA over the years has gotten more and more involved in the school because, and I think it's primarily out of the enthusiasm of the old boys, and because resources coming from government and other sources that were taken for granted in the past are not very forthcoming. So the old boys had to double up and triple up to try and fill this gap. So MOBA's involvement in the school has become very, very deep. And I think that is because of that, that we as an association of old boys need to be very well organized. And then, you know, so that the kind of connection, the kind of association that we have amongst ourselves and with the school is also, you know, streamlined and organized. Because I think in the last 10, 15, 20 years, we're becoming more and more organized, and I think that we need to keep this up and take it forward.
Thank you very much. What would you say to the same question about the relationship between an understanding of the Old Boys Association's relationship with the school?
Okay. Continue from what my senior boy judge said. Having been on council since 2015, I remember first and foremost, the school is our breeding grounds. Without good students from Mfantsipim, the future of MOBA is gone. Because as you started 77, he also had seniors and all those things. We are going, and these are the people coming. So if we take our eyes off Mfantsipim, we are going to feed the fraternity with something that me and you in our 70s or 80s will not be very happy. So what happens is that we need to keep the link with the school. Mfantsipim Old Boys Association cannot delink themselves from the school. And this issue had come up at council, where we even want to change our logo. We want to separate ourselves from Mfantsipim because there were other schools of thought that we spend too much on Mfantsipim than on ourselves. But I believe that the two of us, Mfantsipim and MOBA, can never be separated. And for that matter, as because council have never reneged on ensuring that we do a situation where a year group, without mentioning their name, wanted to do a solar project. Meanwhile, the Renaissance strategy document that council has approved that we're using, that was talking about sponsoring year group approach, where not only one lead year group, but 5 decade groups are put together. One is 10 years, another is 20 years, 30 years. So the 30 years are the lead groups. You have the 40 years, and then we make the 50 years to chair the SYG. And I think 2015, Tumba, I think the MOBA 75, he chaired the first SYG that the council that is existing now for the 2015 speech day. And they wrote a very good report of some of the challenges that the senior boy had raised on abandoned project, like the dispensary. The dispensary started with 2014, I think the 84s, your year group. They were asked to do it as a lead year group. They couldn't complete it because they were doing it alone. It was given to the 85s as a single year group. That one too was not completed. But in 2016, then the 86 decided to do something for the staff. They built 2 bungalows for the staff. They never touched the dispensary project. And as I speak to you now, the dispensary project is still uncompleted. Now, but in 2017, National Council said that no, we can't continue the way we are going. So when that year group decided to go away, because the project committee of NEC decided that we should complete the Kofi Annan building, the multipurpose building. The library is very small for the boys. We should complete the library project. That's how we called it then. The people said they were going to do so. I remember in this room, we called their bluff. We did. And we invoked the fraternity, the whole MOBA fraternity. Then we had some people, an old boy from Summer Boy, providing timber and other things, and we're able to complete it. Now, in 2018, when the 2017 realized that National Council is now firming up with the Renaissance project, 2018, I can tell you that in 2018 we were able to complete the junior science lab. We finished it, and then even NEC were able to buy some chemicals into it. 2019 we had a 4 apartment block for the staff. 2020 we started a sports complex, which if I tell you the amount of money that have gone into it, the Kwabutre sports complex, which we believe that we'll be able to complete. So this is the relationship that we have with the school. Thank you.
Well, thank you very much. It's well, being MOBA 84, we don't say this loudly, but actually within a week or two of completing the substantial part, when we returned to finish the nurses' plat, everything we brought had been stolen. That is what happened to that project. So now that you bring it up, I think we must put it out there. Everything, the building equipment we left to complete, everything, including the shower cups and the taps and bed sheets and mattresses and curtains were no longer there. So there's a history to it. But that is why then we need the central focus, so that it's a more concerted effort than 1 year group. Because when your fingers get burned, and I'll add another one, when we questioned, they asked us why we didn't provide security. And people just gave up. Yes. But I think that maybe Mr. Datsun is on now. Please, Mr. Datsun, introduce yourself to us. Tell us why you are running, and give us your comments about what the relationship between MOBA and Mfantsipim should be.
MOBA 1981, centenary green, and also the immediate past, present, or I left my I have been on the MOBA Council, the period that I was president of my year group. And so I have been very much associated with the developments, both within the old boys fraternity and also between between MOBA and the school. Now, having just exited public service, indeed, having retired in August of this year, I believe that I can serve, this is an opportunity to serve MOBA and also to serve the school. I think it's important, given the current situation in the country, that MOBA contributes to the school's development in terms of the education, in terms of infrastructure. And so I am bringing on board my own experience in land administration to help MOBA set up a MOBA convention center within Cape Coast, which will draw a lot of tourists to the place. and also ensure that within MOBA itself, we have the necessary pool of resources to assist needy members of the MOBA family. And then also contribute to lift up the image of the school. It is so obvious that government cannot do it alone. The Methodist Church can also not do it alone. MOBA, with all the resources and with all the experience and with the positions that we hold as old students, once we are organized, I believe that we can help contribute immensely to the development of the school. If you take the sports infrastructure, for example, this has been handled through MOBA, and so there's always a lot that we can do to assist the school. And I think that with my own experience, having been part of the other year groups where we're doing projects for the school, we had gone into support. And so we will continue to do that. And I think it will be my own modest contribution to the development of not only MOBA, but Mfantsipim School in general. Thank you.
Thank you. And now that we still have you on, can you comment on the relationship which should exist between the Old Boys Association and the school? How should that play out?
Yes,
still with Mr. Datsun. Then we'll come to Mr. Ando to answer the same questions.
We could not hear because we couldn't hear because the host was muted. So my senior, if you could repeat what you said.
Okay, Mr. Ando, now that we can hear you, kindly introduce yourself to us, tell us what you do, and then tell us why you're running for office. And also, that's quite a lot, what you think the relationship between MOBA and the school should be like. I hope you heard.
Thank you. I did hear, and I hope you are hearing me. And thank you for that question. First of all, I'll tackle it. I am Daniel Kufiando, a member of the 86 year group, a very dynamic year group who have sponsored me for this position. In terms of what I do, I'm a management consultant. Basically, we look for problems and solve for companies, for multilaterals, for development partners, and even civil society organizations. So I do management consulting. So we deal with the soft skills, personal productivity skills. We do training, advisory services, and then we also do monitoring and evaluation. So that's who I am by way of the profession. But as to what is motivating me to run for office, I'm a member of the 86, the Sixers, and I've been the secretary for the 86-year group for almost, I think, since we set up. Yes, as a life position. But during the onset of COVID, I got a chance to represent my year group on council for a number of meetings online. And I got motivated and inspired also by the dynamism that has been injected into the Mfantsipim Old Boys Year Group by the previous NIC and the Busiapane. And I said that, look, I would like to be part of the team. And it's a kind of natural graduation from being the secretary and putting myself up for office to represent my decade. So that's by virtue of my motivation. I believe I have certain skills to offer, and I believe that I can also represent the decade year group quite adequately. In terms of what the relationship should be between MOBA and then the school, the relationship should be a win-win relationship. MOBA, for now, once you're a MOBA year group, then Mfantsipim is your past. But then as you have to make sure that you keep it alive. And we've seen that there are issues that we want, problems we want to solve with school in terms of overcrowding, in terms of making it a school, and that we as MOBA alumni will send our kids to, which I must admit most of us now are not. We have to now benchmark it to global, not national or regional benchmarks. So I believe that these are some of the things that should be the relationship as MOBA being senior brothers to look after Mfantsipim as our junior brother and make sure that it is a place where we would like to send our our kids and our grandkids there. So those are what I feel the relationship should be between that MOBA year group and the, Mfantsipim school. But then, like I said, Mfantsipim is our past. Our present is MOBA. So we also have to look after ourselves. That is, as a year group, as also a whole body, an alumni body. And we must admit that as old boys, we need to energize our group to bring in people who are not feeling marginalized or are not enjoying the fraternity. So we have to also look after ourselves as people who have now exited Kabuchi, and some of us are in careers, some of us are retired, some of us are in personal endeavors. Let us build on that in terms of social networking, and as well as making sure that we are also translating that social network into productive endeavors where people are gaining from it in terms of business. So that's in terms of our past and our present. Then we look to our future. Then the future is what we will do to make sure that Mfantsipim continues to be the brightest school in Ghana. And there I have some ideas from my background in terms of introducing leadership courses, mentorship, and then also in terms of making sure that everyone who passes through Mfantsipim, even with the 2.5 years of JSS, imbibe the history of Mfantsipim. And when they go out, they can talk and know that they are standing on great shoulders. So that really is, for me, my motivation and a bit of what I think the relationship should be with the school, as well as what we can do for the school as a national, but I can also contribute as a National Executive Council member. Thank you very much, Ace.
Thank you very much. That was very detailed. But so I'm going to throw this other question up, and I'll start with you, Dave, and then we'll go around the house. MOBA has a unique structure. In an attempt to address throwing everyone together where the interests might not be the same, we emphasize a lot on the year groups, and then the national is supposed to bind us all together. But one of the risks of having that structure which works is that you develop silos, where you have 84 who might talk to 83 and 85, but has nothing to do with 80. And so there's always the risk of us having independent groups with some fair amount of competition going on between us. But I think you'll admit that there's the need to sustain alumni interest, growth, and support for MOBA's activities. Tell me, when you become Vice Ebusiapeni, what are you going to do to sustain alumni interest and sustain the year group structure, which works, but also get the involvement of the year groups into the main structure and sustain our interest in what the alumni do?
Okay, thank you very much. If you look at the Renaissance document carefully, which MOBA in 2007, I think it was authored by the 1967-77 year group. So in 2007, it was launched at the National Theatre. I was there. If you read the document carefully, this problem that you narrated was a challenge way back then. So they brought the issue of the SYG. And I'll give you an example. With the SYG structure, in 2020, in a COVID infested era.
What's SYG?
A sponsoring year group. So instead of we working in silos, every year, about 5 decade groups are put together. So for example, this year, we have MOBA 73, who are 50 years old, chairing the sponsoring year group. MOBA 83, deputy chair of that group. MOBA 93, I call them the CEOs. They do a lot of the management work. And then you have MOBA 2003, who are the 20 years supporting. And then you have the MOBA 2013, who were introduced to council by the 2003. Now, I experienced it in 2020, where we were 30 years old as MOBA 90, and the 70s were chairing, General Pra retired. And the way we worked together, it was amazing. And we were following the Renaissance document. So we wanted, as a year group, to renovate the administration block, the Green Shaka one, renovate it. But when we all met as a sponsoring year group committee, my seniors, we were supposed to bring the project because we were going to pay the maximum. They said no, so we discussed. But one beautiful thing about the sponsoring year group approach is that the entire cost of the project is shared in a certain proportion. It's very interesting. I don't know how they came out with the formula, but the 30 years pays about 47% or something. And then there's 23, 24, and so on and so forth. I think the 50 years, they take 7%, the charge, but they check. And it was so amazing we worked together. Now, come 2023, when, by the grace of God, I decided to stand for Vice Champagne, the Constitution said that I need to have 5-decade groups sponsoring my nomination. Similar to what you said. If not because of the SYG arrangement, where was I going to get these people who I didn't even meet in school to sponsor me? But because we worked together in 2020, I can tell you that I had 70 sponsoring my nomination. I had 2,000 sponsoring my, I had over 80 sponsoring my nominations. I was like, wow. So I believe that the MOBA National Council, with the adoption of the Renaissance document and working with the SYG approach, is making us develop monumental projects in the school, as I narrated from 2017. If you look at the project that the 5-decade groups have been able to provide, and the collaboration, it's very, very amazing. So I believe that the SYG approach is the way to go. Maybe as NEC, we should be able to also help MOBA NEC level functions, where we invite more than the 5-decade groups, like the Adisco Games. I met some seniors that I wouldn't have met them if not because of the MOBA Praise. Also was another program. I met other people. Say, hey, look how you have become big. They were still thinking of me as a 4-1 boy when they were in upper 6. So they've not seen me. Say, hey, look at you. So now I'm 50. So you take your time, you know. So I believe that those NEC level activities can help us also come together. Thank you very much.
Good. You see, the points that have been made are very good, but I see some pitfalls ahead of us. Yeah, when we were in school, those times, a lot of us spent so many years in school. 5 years, 7 years, and maybe those who came to sixth form 2 years. But at the time that they came to sixth form and spent just 2 years, they were matured boys. Yeah, but those of us who went there as literally toddlers, yeah, spent 5 years and sometimes 7 years in the school. So we knew a lot of old boy groups. So many groups, right? When you go to Form 1, those who are all ahead of you, you know. By the time you get to Form 5 or 6 Form, those who are coming from all before you, you know. So you come in good contact with at least 10-year groups, at least, those days in school. But now it's not like that. They are spending 2.5 years, maximum 3 years in the school, and they are gone. Some of them don't even know their own classmates, that they are year group mates. They don't know them. So these things are the things that are going to happen very soon. When you have, and you say, oh, 2020 year group, let's meet. And they all meet and they come and who are these? We don't know. They don't know each other. So those are the kind of things that we should start thinking about. Otherwise, you will be taken by surprise that the year groups that are coming behind us will not actually gel the way we gelled as brothers, the way we live together. That for me is one of the things that we should start thinking about. And the electronic age, which is also challenging us, is also one of the things that we should start thinking about. Now there are two people who are talking to us virtually, okay? Before the COVID era, when Zoom and all those kind of things came, these things were not being used, yeah? How is it going to be like in another 5 years? Would we even be having physical meetings again? Those are the kind of things that we should start thinking about. And when you put that one aside, I think one of the gentlemen who was online, probably I think it was Mr. Ando, who said that, and I think I liked what he said, that Mfantsipim is our past and MOBA is our present. We used to be in the school as students, right? But now we are part of MOBA now. We should be able to think about ourselves to be able, now the focus has been what are we doing for the school? But we should be able to think about ourselves to put us in a better situation to be able to help the school better. So we should have this kind of program where the year groups interact more with each other. We can have mentorship programs for the younger ones who are coming, or people who are having mid-career crisis, and you can invite the very senior old boys to come and tell us how they handled it when they were, you know, had those kind of crises and so on and so forth in midlife. So these are the kind of things that we should start thinking about. And then when we begin to think about that, MOBA would move from the step that it is now to the next step ahead of. Thank you.
Thank you. That really adds up. Let's go to Mr. James Datson. Same question. How are you going to sustain alumni interest in what MOBA National does? And after that, Mr. Ando may also answer.
These days, technology, as far as communication is concerned, is really helping us a lot. And so I would want us to focus on communication, how we communicate our programs that we prepare for ourselves as various year groups, and to bring everybody on board. I mean, we all saw the MOBA disco games. That we see how in Mfantsipim all students attend Speech Day. And I think these are moments that bring us together. We should do more. We should draw up programs, have days for these programs like we have for the Speech Day. And we know that at this time, this event is going to take place. This is for us and by us. And as I said, we have technology to aid us to bring the notice to everybody. And also, I would like to encourage the various year groups to have their regular meetings where some of these ideas will be shared. I think that if we draw programs that are prepared by us, that are owned by us, whether it is taking place in Cape Coast or it is taking place in Kumasi or Accra, when we have communicated well and we have packaged these programs, we will get our old students on board. We will also need to do programs that are dual, that is involving the school, the students, and also the old boys. Mentorship, as has been said earlier on, I think is very, very good. We need to go back to the school and share ideas with the students. I think that it is better we do it ourselves so that they see that, oh, these people who pass through the school, this is where they are, this is what they went through, this is what they've done, and this is where they are. And so we also have an opportunity as young up-and-coming students to step into their shoes because they pass through these walls and this is where they are. So I think that, and I'll go back to it again, let us draw up programs that will be of benefit to us and communicate these programs effectively amongst ourselves, whether locally or abroad, and ensure that we bring ourselves together. I think we shouldn't look outside the box. We should think within. MOBA is well-resourced to be able to draw up its own programs, to be able to help grow MOBA as a group, and in that way help the school, also the students also to develop. So that is what I have to say in response to your question. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. Mr. Ando, your turn, please.
Hello, Ace. Am I to respond to the same question?
Yes, the same question. How to sustain alumni interest?
Sustaining interest in MOBA activities and enhancement. You mentioned something when you were talking about us working in silos and sometimes competing against ourselves. I don't really see that as a bad thing. I think we should encourage the year groups to work to be in healthy competition. And we see it at the fun games when one year group plays another and the rest. So we should just encourage more inclusion within the MOBA fraternity. Draw more people who are on the fringes to come in. And sometimes, and this is where I like what Dr. Manful said, technology has changed the playing field of how networking and even how communication and conference works. But we should take advantage of it. And I am sure all of you who like Bechachu is 50 plus, your kids now, everybody, if they don't have a phone, they have an iPad, and you know when they meet, almost all of them are on their phones. And we think that they are missing that kind of social interactions we used to have, that hanging out. But in their own way, they are also networking. So let's get into it. Let's not put ourselves on the fringe. Let's jump into technology, create some apps, get them excited to know that, yes, we are old boys, but we are still young in mind and technology, and therefore we include them. The issue of mentorship too is something that I feel that each year group can help those. Dr. Manfred is so right. They only spend 2.5 years in school, and now the population too is so large that sometimes you don't know your classmates, but they have issues that they like. They would like if they had senior brothers who can help them. One of the biggest issues that students have, even not only at Mfantsipim, when they go to university, is career counseling. This is a place where the old boys are well versed to support them. These are where we can bring professionals to advise them. A lot of students finish not only the SSS, but university, and they don't know what to do. So we have a healthy career counseling program. Inclusion. As of now, the 76-year group, whenever they do parties, they invite executives of the 86-year group. This is just nice. We can then ramp it up. So as a MOBA fraternity, that's healthy social inclusion. That's where the bonds are built and the stories and the experience sharing are done that binds us together. So we need more of those. And that's for me, those are what we should do. Focus on technology. Let's address what the student needs that will make them interested to see MOBA as a resource for them. It's a resource when they need career counseling. It's a resource when they need life counseling. It's a resource when they need mentorship. And then it's also an opportunity when they need networking. We do it even in our own year. If somebody has a problem, you put it on WhatsApp. Anybody knows a top person at a cow bank, then they'll give you a MOBA person and then your problem is being solved. So let's create MOBA as a resource that the students find value in it and they'll be part of it. Then we, as council members, have to empower our national secretariat. The secretariat has to be professional and do much more. Right now, I see we have different Facebook accounts, you go to our website, the headmaster is still written as Barton Udro. These are things that is not helping our brand. So the national secretariat, as executive council members, I feel that we have to tax them, resource them, professionalize them so they can deliver good service that can bind us and keep that bond with us together. So for me, the issue of sustainability, those are how I feel we should address it. Make MOBA a resource that is indispensable to the students, current students at Mfantsipim, and then also be indispensable to our members themselves who some are on the fringe. So I would like to end there with my contribution on how we can address the issues of sustainability. Thank you.
Hello. Okay, thank you, Dan. And whilst I still have you on, maybe I'll start with you for the next question. How familiar are you with the school's current operations? And tell us one thing that you'd want to change about the way the school runs and operates right now. How familiar are you with the school's current operations? And tell me one thing that you would like to change when you serve on the board. Let's start with you, Daniel.
Thank you very much. I must admit that I am not neck deep into the school operations, but then I would say that I have been to the school often, and when we go to our activities, and I was there recently, and I mean, whenever I go to, if I make it a point to pass there, invariably I have relatives there who I like to see, and it's always just good to touch base. And I watched. I think they had finished classes, and the students were coming down. It was like they had unleashed a tap that was just flowing. Red shirts kept coming. The numbers issue wasn't good. The way they attended the dining in batches wasn't good. And so I said that, look, the first thing that I would like to change in the way the school is done is let us have a structured way of determining the numbers the school can cater for. And if we go, I don't know, somehow Wesley Girls seems to have conquered that and have been able to somehow resist being overburdened. We have to learn from them to see how we can hold government's pressure and then make sure that the numbers are controlled so that all of them get value. So that is one thing. I mean, I think that it is the key point of many of the issues, because with uncontrollable numbers, then there's too much strain on all the other systems: medical, library facility, water, all the other. Even if you want to do sports, is there enough room for everybody to get a chance? So for me, if you say one thing I want to change, is that the admission policy. Let us see how we as MOBA partner with the Methodist Church and then engage government. And we also hold them, and let's also have some resources. So I've been quite interested in both Ebusapeng aspirants, their manifestos, where they are talking about taking back the school. These are very ambitious, but I feel that there's a certain momentum that we should press and see if we can do it. So that's what I would say in terms of broad strokes. I wouldn't get into the minutiae of what else to change, but I think that as National Executive Council member, we should deal with the big issue of, I think, numbers. That is the thing. We need to empower the headmaster and empower the management so that they will be able to resist the uncontrollable pressures that sometimes emanate from others. So I think I'd like to end there with my submission on what I'd like to change.
Thank you very much. Still staying online, Mr. Datsun, Senior Zo. How familiar are you with the operations? And is there one thing that you'd want to change about how the school is currently run?
Thank you. Anytime I go to Cape Coast, I try to visit the school, but it's together with my mates, we try to find out for ourselves that Ando had said that numbers are a bit of a concern. The school's land size cannot be increased. The infrastructure in the school can only be expanded to a certain limited extent. So I think as all students, we have to mobilize ourselves, work with the Methodist Church, work with government to have a ceiling as far as the school's intake is concerned. So that if we know that the infrastructure that we have, or the projected infrastructure that we have, both for the domestic side and the academic side, it can only take a certain number, we have to work towards achieving that goal so that we will have quality products coming out of the school and not just throwing in and the numbers. In fact, if you do that, even discipline is a challenge. The headmaster will tell you that is one of the major challenges that they have in the school. Then my other concern also is about the teaching staff. I think that there should be some focus on the staff who teach in the school. How can we better motivate them? How can we help them? Because I interact with some of them. We also observe that a number of staff go to Cape Coast, go to the school to teach, and then they go and better their education, maybe do master's degree programs in the University of Cape Coast and other places. And then before you realize, some of them want to leave the school because they think that they can market themselves better elsewhere. So I believe that we should motivate the staff. We should bring quality even among the staff. That we have top class teachers who are teaching in the school, and they are better motivated. The facilities that they enjoy, whether it is a residential accommodation or whatever, that everything is made available so that our teaching staff will be able to impart the required knowledge among the students. I think that a lot of emphasis in several discussions we talk about the students, what we are going to do for the students. But I think that there should be a major focus on the teaching staff who are training our children for the future. And we should better motivate them so that if a teacher is in Mfantsipim and he enjoys some facilities, he looks at other places and he realizes that what he is getting from Mfantsipim as a #1 school is far, far, far better than others. And so it's one area that as a group we should focus on to bring quality to the school. And I also think that there should be closer engagement between the old boys and the school authorities. That once we have a closer engagement with them, we will get first-hand information as to what is going on in the school, and we will be able to come together and find ways of assisting them to resolve these issues together. That we don't go in and throw solutions at them, that we will work with them together. Even the students, we will have to understand what challenges they go through so that together we can have solutions, that we will all own the processes of resolving some of the challenges that go on in the school. Thank you very much.
Good. Thank you very much. I think that the last two speakers have raised some very, very important points. I would want to make comments on those ones. I think that we should not have too many things on our drawing board, yeah? We should be able to focus on a few issues and then take them forward. Let me start with the numbers in the school. That is the beginning of all the many problems that we have. There's a system which is being run. Somebody told me, and a good friend of mine told me, that figures don't lie, right? And facts are just, they are sacrosanct. I don't believe it. There's nothing like alternative facts. People talk of alternative facts. It doesn't exist. Anything which is an alternative to the fact is not true. The fact is supposed to be sacrosanct. We should be able to calculate very easily what the carrying capacity of the school is. Yeah? What is how many classrooms do we have? How many students can we have in those classrooms? And then we go to the dormitories. What is the carrying capacity of the dormitories? Which of them is the major determining factor? It will definitely be the classrooms, because they can tell you that you can have day students and people who are staying out of the school. But you cannot have a certain number in a particular class. I remember when I was teaching in the school in 84 thereabout, I had a big, it wasn't a row, but I had a big argument with Mr. Dontry, who was the headmaster. And do you know what it was about? There was one class which had 45 boys in the school, in the class, and I was determined not to teach that class. 45 boys in the class, and I thought it was too much. Mr. Donchi was telling me, it doesn't matter, try. And I said, no, sir, you know why? If I give them work, I can mark it. Or if you want me to do, then I'll give them multiple, choice, ABC, ABC. But if I give them proper work, I can't mark it. I can't teach 45 boys in a class. I was thinking that the maximum should be around 36, 38, 39 max, but 45, no. But today, go back to the schools and check the number of students in the class. The teachers are powerless. They go, they see, they have to teach. The headmaster is sitting there today, and then he gets a list. Add these people have been admitted. Admission, add them, add them, add them, add them. And all those people are coming in after admissions are supposed to have been closed. The headmasters are powerless to admit. So us as old boys, maybe the Methodist Church, we should engage government and tell them that, look here, much as everybody wants to take his son to Mfantsipim, there's a limit. You can't have your children there. Otherwise, they can't get a chair to sit on. Otherwise, they can't get a place to sit. They can't find food in the dining hall. So we should do these things and let these people who are interested in the school know that there's a limit beyond which you can't go. And then the kind of things that we do for them would have a meaningful effect. What my main worry is even hygiene. How many toilets are there which are functioning? And look at all these boys. Do they queue to go to toilet? What do they do? Where are they easing themselves? Because the facilities haven't improved. Would you want to take your child to a place where he goes to the bush to ease himself in the middle of the night? So these are some of the things that we should bring forward and let the powers that be know that there's a limit to which you can put children in these schools. Maybe let me just stop here.
Well, thank you. Just remind me.
Yes.
When you came to teach in 84, were you with Mr. Yakwa and Mr. Sowa?
Yes, they were my seniors. They had just gotten, they were my seniors. They left before
you came to teach?
I came to meet them there.
They were teaching at the time.
And they left before I left, yes.
Yeah, the teaching time I'm referring to.
Yes.
Okay, you guys were rebels. I remember very well. They unleashed a bunch of old boy rebels on us. Mr. Yakwa, Mr. Sowa, and then you.
Yankee. There was Yankee as well.
Yeah,
the late Ambassador Yankee was also there.
We used to look at you, rebels. Okay, let's continue.
Okay. I believe that my seniors have spoken, but one missing thing that I think is very, very important is the governance around the school. There was a time at council where we were told that the school board was not meeting. You see, we can say all we want, but if the governance structure has broken down, anything that you put on it will collapse. And this was one of the things I said in my initial comment. We discussed at council. We even told the Mfantsipim to ensure that there are meetings. There were various reasons that were given at council. So I believe that all that we are saying, if the board of governors, which have all the stakeholders, government is represented, we have 2 slots as old boys, the PTA. Right now, I taught there, my son also went there. We are even campaigning for old boys to be PTA chairman, so that we can increase our number at the board level. Now, if the board it's not functioning, it makes the headmaster weak, because you have the presiding bishop as the chairman of the board of. So if you say Methodist Church, as if it is in the air, the chairman is the presiding bishop. The Mfantsipim was on the board, and I think Mr. JC, they are our 2 reps. We have currently, because of the system they run, you cannot have all the years in school at the same time. So there's PTA chairman for SS1, there's PTA chairman for SS2, there's PTA chairman for SS3. Now we are campaigning for an old boy to be the PTA chairman for SS1. And we are also campaigning that for one reason or the other, the SS1 PTA chairman should be on the board. These are things going on the ground to make sure that the stakeholders, and at time when we speak, the PTA also do a lot. we did the water sanitation situation where every year group was levying 15,000. The PTA, they organized themselves into inter-house PTAs, and they provided polytanks, big ones, and plumbing work for the ablutions you were talking about. So the church, the old boys, the PTA, and the government, at the governance level, the board level, need to start talking. And when we start to talk from that level, it will transcend down. Now, what targets are we setting for the teachers? We always talk about Wesley girls, but go and ask what they are doing. Once the governance framework is empowered, you realize that if we set targets for the teachers and they are not meeting it, what are we doing? The carrot and the stick. I remember Wesley girls sending the best teacher to the US and at times to the UK. So I have goddaughter in Wesley girls. She's currently the school prefect. And at times the teachers use their own money to give them cookies at prep to learn. And I was wondering, what are you talking about? I said, oh no, they will give you cookie, like stay and put in the extra work, and you see your teacher giving you incentive. Can you imagine? Because the governance structure, it should work. We said that the numbers, if the board is working well, all the people you are mentioning, they sit on the board. So I remember there was a time at council where we got involved in the numbers. Then there was gold and something. There were two colors. And the funny thing is that we were so successful at one of the colors that were coming first. And we thought we have reduced the numbers. Then the second one that came, the green and something, there were plenty. But at that board level engagement, I've seen it work, where council encourage the Ebushapeni. So I believe that the continuous engagement of council, the NEC, and the board to make sure that if the board is not meeting, let's encourage the meeting. But if we think that as old boys, unilaterally, we can make impact, that will be very difficult. There are other stakeholders who are as important as us. And if the governance framework we don't ensure, because we spend a lot of money, but they don't meet. So if they don't meet, there's the headmaster and his people. And what can he do? It can be changed. When you leave it at the headmaster level, then you are giving GES the power. But when you enforce the governance level, then all of them are sitting down to make decisions. And the chairman is the presiding bishop. And we have the Methodist Church on our side. They respect us a lot. So if we have them with government and the PTA, which we are campaigning to have old boys to be chairpersons, I think we can influence whatever numbers, whatever challenges. Secondly, as old boys and sponsoring year groups, we are doing very well as far as the infrastructure is concerned, as much as we can do. And as I narrated since 2017, we've done a lot of work. We've given the Kofi Annan building. We were able to work with Talo to renovate the senior science lab. We have gotten the junior science lab fully finished and working. There's a ceramic unit that I believe another sponsoring year group can look at. Now we are at the sports field, which I believe that is a game changer. Why do I say so? Is in all the assets, the investment we've had in Mfantsipim, the only any asset that we can earn something from to sustain whatever maintenance or anything is the sports complex. You can't use the dining hall as an any asset. You can't use assembly hall as an any asset. So I want all old boys to encourage us to complete the sports complex of excellence so that we can get some internally generated funds so that we can support the school. Because after all said and done, it comes down to money. That is why even at the Bushapenyi campaign level, you could see $10 million coming up and all. End of the day, let's get the governance in place, and then the MOBA endowment fund. the MOBA endowment fund. If we get these things in place, and you said how you are going to take over the school, they say, show me money. Then you don't get money. Poor man, how can you take over the school? Even the Methodist Church and the Presbyterian Church could not do it. Then how you go feed one? So let us, you know, we talk as if we are the only stakeholders when it comes to Mfantsipim school. The PTA, the Methodist Church, and government, free SHS, and our first school. Who will give you that? No fund school for no coin. So I think we should be realistic and engage at the board level. If you are going to do projects, let's discuss it at the board level where we'll get a buy-in so that we can invoke the administrative framework to work. But these old boys going there and doing their own thing, it's not sustainable. And I don't think I'm going to encourage it. When you give me the nod, I'm not going to encourage that. So if you want to control like that, then change your mind. Because I'm not going to encourage that. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Look, David, if we were voting, I'd vote for you today. You really understand the issues on the ground. But it kind of dovetails into what will be my last set of questions before we wind up. Money. Funds. I hear you say we should finish the sports complex so it becomes what you call an earning asset. An asset that is used in that regard also then deteriorates and depreciates quicker than so that there's money for there should be money for maintenance. But it's like a double-edged thing. If you are not earning any money, it becomes very difficult to maintain it. We have seen the stadiums that Ghana put up for the CAN 2008, and today some of them are completely in disuse because they couldn't raise the money for it. So I want to throw this out there, and we'll start with Doc. What plans do you have where financing our strategy for the school is concerned? Now we know that we need to campaign and sponsor a PTA chair, so we then get 3 direct reps on the board of governors, and if we always have the ear of the presiding bishop, then we probably have 4 votes on the governing council. It's something we need to consider very seriously. But Doc, when it comes to money, financing our strategy, financing our project, because as they say, this is money. If you don't have money, you make the noise and you say you go and make noise, you don't take over the school. Where's your money? Please, what strategies do you have and would you suggest for financing MOBA's vision for the school?
Yes, thank you very much. See, I think that this is the crux of the matter. But the reason why this kind of question doesn't keep me awake at night is that it is MOBA. And we have got talent. We've got people of all, experiences within this association. What we need to do is to actually be able to tap the kind of resources that we have. Look, if you talk about, and sometimes I don't like hypothetical things. I am a bit worried about us thinking that this sports complex will give us a lot of money. It may not. What made me a bit happier was I think it was Datsun who talked about the fact that he wanted MOBA itself, not the school, MOBA to build a conference facility or somewhere in Cape Coast. That can be a money earner. That can be a purely commercial money earner, and we can use it for all kinds of things. And this time, it is not the school. It is the association that is using it to get money. Because, you were talking about the fact that you used your money, you bought stuff, you put it in the school, it got stolen, and they ask you, why didn't you provide security? I would ask you the same question. Because it's your money. Those other people there, sorry to say this, right? They see those stuff there. They don't know that it came really from people's pockets. All right? So they don't pay a lot of attention to it. But what I'm trying to say here is that MOBA should have its own money. And this whole thing about having this conference facility, and we are lucky that we are even being hosted by the Methodist Church. Those of you who have been our seniors, MOBA has moved around a little bit, from here and there and there and there and there to senior is laughing. He knows, till we found refuge here. And now they say they are going to give us refuge up there. So office accommodation is settled, but we should have something. And I believe that this whole project that the association is about to do in Cape Coast is an important one. All right? The sports facility will raise our image. It will help us to, do better in sports and so on and so forth. But I'm really, really very skeptical whether we can get, when dwarfs is coming to train on the field, we'll tell them, it may not work. Or occasionally, once in a blue moon, Black Star is coming to play in the Cape Coast Sports Stadium and they need to train somewhere, and you say, okay, let's go to Mfantsipim, and then you are asking for money. It won't have, they will talk to senior, go and talk to us, and then he will come and talk to Chale, let them come, and they will come. So I believe that the conference center is something that we should put more emphasis on, because getting money from people's pocket directly over a long period of time is not sustainable, and things are getting tougher and tougher. So we should be looking at those ones. Thanks.
Thank you. We'll get to our brethren on the thing, but of course, if Black Stars wants to train on in our stadium, they can't have it as of right. We'll demand that they pay. There'll be a fixed fee. If they don't pay, they should go and train at the beach. And oh yes, honestly. And the other thing about, you seem to agree with the headmaster who said we should provide security. That is a disincentive to contributions. No, yes, but I said that you say the same thing. I can't invest money in the school, and you say that I then must pay to bring security. On whose authority? I can't just ship security from Accra to Cape Coast. And sometimes that has been the problem with Mfantsipim, that when you do make the donation, when you invest, then it kind of flies into your face. And so the old boys constitute a great resource. But I will be honest with you, my willingness to give died that day with that flippant comment. And it hasn't revived since then. You claim to revive, it won't be. But let's go first to Mr. Datsun.
Let me make one little comment. You see, I don't agree with that comment that go and provide security. I think that it is born out of the guy has nothing to lose, or whoever was telling you that has nothing to lose, because whatever is there is not his money. You get what I mean? That's why he'll be able to tell you, oh, but you should have gotten somebody to come and look at something that you are coming to give to me. It's just like when I was young, my father used to tell me that. So what did they rewind? I miss the sumna, make of a tambechitrina. Okay, that's what they were telling you.
Well, I understand that some groups provided security for 2 years for a project because the project was being vandalized. The part of the cost for raising funds is for the school itself to have ownership of what we send, and that's why probably the coordinated development work. But let's go to Mr. Datsun. Mr. Datsun, how do you plan to finance what you believe is your vision for 7 on the board? After that, Mr. Ando will speak, and then we'll come to David, and then we'll be winding up.
Thank you very much. I think we have to do a number of things. There are a lot of old boys. There are a lot of old boys who I believe that if we reach out to them, they will give. If we have a structure for giving, they will. You will notice that I don't know whether it is a faithful age spirit that is running across all the year groups. You will find out that there are about, on the average, 8 very active members who do virtually everything. What happened to the rest? I think it's about time we reached out to every single member of this group. We have come up with this idea of building not just a conference center, but a convention center in Cape Coast. This country doesn't even have a convention center. If we have this convention center in Cape Coast, the way we envisage it, it will just be the game changer. People will put in the money. And in any case, we don't even need to put in all the money ourselves. If we package this in well, we go out there, we will get some one of these top reputable hotels to come in there and put in the infrastructure and run it. If you have a conference facility, it will pay for itself. But I think that there are little things that we need to do. For a very long time, the MOBA sticker that we find on our cars was about 5 cedis. 5 cedis, and if you are not an old boy of Mfantsipim, you will not have this sticker. There are old students who put this sticker on their cars and they go to sleep. They do virtually nothing for the school. And I have proposed that we need to rebrand this sticker and give it value. If you're an old boy and you really want to help the school, don't just put a sticker on your car for it to open doors for you. You go somewhere. Even sometimes if you get to the police barrier, you have a MOBA sticker on your car, they just open it for you to go. You are benefiting from all of these things, and yet you are paying 5 cedis for the sticker. I understand it's now 20 or whatever. We should add value to the sticker. These are the little things that we need to do to raise funds for the school. And I still want to maintain that this has to come from us. We need to move away from this faithful aid thing where everything is on the shoulders of only a few of our members. That will not help us. Let us mobilize, and when we get on council, I believe that through the various year groups, we will be able to raise funds. My own year group over the years have helped the school. We have mobilized to buy jerseys for the school. We have mobilized to furnish staff accommodation with the sanitation project, even when we are not the sponsoring year group. Why can't it be the same for others? Let our leaders get all of us on board. Let us put the money together. Nobody will do it for us. We have to do it ourselves. And I think that as a group, we will be able to do it. And I tell you I think that whatever it is that has died in you, it should be revived. And you are the same person who can motivate yourself and others to come and contribute to make the school what we all envisage it to be. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Daniel, and then we'll come to David, and our time will be up. Daniel, finance, money, what are we going to do? Finance, money, what are we going to do? Finance, money, money.
Yes, I mean, my predecessors have said about it, and I'm already feeling inspired. But as a consultant, I have written what we call resource mobilization strategies, where I help organizations raise money. And I believe that MOBA has the requisite professionals within us to help us raise money. For me, I love what my senior Daxon said, and I like what I will first start with what David, the incoming vice president, said about the governance structure. This is very important, and from a corporate governance point of view, people raise money when they know that your structures are in a good state. There are, as I speak now, those of you who've had children in either tech or Ashesi or so, the amount of money MasterCard Foundation is given this educational student institution in terms of building even a whole hall. So why can't they give that money to Mfantsipim to do the things that we need to do? And it's because first our governance structures have to be right. We have so many professionals within and outside the country who we can tap into. So first of all, we have to have a concerted vision. So I love what Mr. Daxon said about the convention center, and it's a great idea. But let's have a harmonized idea in terms of a vision. And that's what I'm looking at, what the two campaigns are coming with. And then we also tap into our base document, which is the Renaissance document. If needed to update it, let's update it. Let's put in place that structure that when we go out, because Mfantsipim is a powerful brand internationally, and we have international people out there. So for me, I'm not going to focus on our money. Let's see how we can attract outside money to help us. And first we identify the organizations that sponsor educational institutions. What do they need to see? Then we position Mfantsipim so that we are in an attractive position to receive those funds. But all has to do with governance. And I like what Ace2 said. Look, let's give payback to those who invest in Mfantsipim. You've contributed. They don't even send you anything to know that this is the status. This is what we have gained. And this is where the monitoring and reporting structures, so that we have good corporate governance. We will task a good national secretariat to help us implement that. But for me, I'm looking at, let's get our structures right so we are attractive to those who want to fund education. And there are those internally. You mentioned the telcos, and there are all these people having corporate social responsibility money that they want to give to education. And education is one of the easiest places to get funding for academic affairs. So, but the thing is that if your corporate structure, you are not positioned well, there's no transparency, there's no accountability, and they say that, why didn't you provide security? Or like the 83-year group, the party they did, the money that should have sustained it, the wives of the teachers have set up shop and benefited. When the structures aren't there, nobody wants to throw money into a black hole. So for me, I'm not going to say I'm going to raise money per se, but I can position and help MOBA position itself so it is attractive to funds. But we need, again, the issues that all my previous speakers said about the governance structure, about sustainability, and then about MOBA investing in certain things itself and attracting. They are all very workable. But if your structure isn't right, nobody is going to throw money at you. So that is where my focus is. Get a good document. Now, those of you who are in the real estate, you know what they do. They sell you a picture of an apartment and you pay beforehand. And I'm telling you, they don't have money. You are paying for the picture. They will say, oh, you have this and this. It is your money that they will use to build. So let us get a good document that can get trust. And we have the professionals within us. I don't want to paraphrase, we have the men, but I must say that MOBA has a rich resource which we have to tap into. There are so many excellent professionals. So we will create that enabling environment as the NEC to welcome these professionals on board, put together a solid document. We all know that the support we've got from either Tolu or others, we have leveraged on our network. Let us leverage on those networks, but let's give them the ammunition. Let's give them the document. Let's give them the structure that they will be proud to say this is a sellable document that we can raise financing for. Because MOBA remains a good brand. And that's why everybody wants their kids there. Thank you very much.
And back to since you started the money issue, I'll just give you a minute to wind up, and then because we already run out of time, and so we want to just touch on it for a minute, and then we'll be done.
Okay. As you saw that I took my laptop. Mm-hmm. Why I took my laptop is that I have the latest financial statement of MOBA 2021 that we approved at council in May. And if you look at the balance sheet, and I'm going to speak as an investment actuary, all right? You look at our balance sheet. This is the balance sheet. If you look on the balance sheet and you look at the assets that have been listed there, it includes projects that we have done in Mfantsipim. And if you indulge me, we have the biogas project. We have the infirmary project construction. We have multipurpose library project. That's the Kofi Annan. We have the new science laboratory. We have the water and sanitation project. And if you've been on council since 2015, you understand all these things. And then we ask the auditor that we don't own those assets. It's a school. Why has he put it on our balance sheet? And he said, oh, he's trying to account for monies that NEC has spent. And that is why I brought the issue of any asset. I was a treasurer of a bank, and I eat balance sheet for the bank to survive. When I look at this balance sheet, none of the assets are any. We can't earn anything from all the things I've listed. Then I asked myself, if this is the accounting principle that the auditor, he came to council, and we approved it. I think an Achimota old boy is our auditor. And
we have to look at that.
So
that's okay. It's okay. I'm Achimota's lawyer.
If there is a sports complex, which is a bit outside the school, okay, location excellent, 2 hotels where the Black Star even comes. So it means the Brazilian national team can come there. Any similar to Lizzie Sports Complex.
And Royal.
Yes, Ridge Royal and Pampese. And I'm told that we've even acquired a property, MOBA, in that area. Maybe that is what the convention thing is about, I don't know. But I'm saying that, do you know that when we started the sports complex, Pampese has built an AstroTurf? You've not been to the school a lot. They built an AstroTurf. They are renting it. Okay? There's a road in front of the stadium, the complex we are building. From Accra, it's easy. What I'm saying is that the assets on our balance sheet that the auditor is doing, none of them is going to earn us anything to even maintain them. 2020, when we started the sports complex, my year group, when we started the sports complex, just after speech day, our thing was, they were vandalized. And then, because nobody has started anything, they were the first to cut the forest and start. They told us to provide security. So we provided money for security until the 2021's SYG started developing the football pitch that they didn't take over from us. Our project was vandalized, so we had to pay money for burglar proof. No. So I'm telling you that I believe now, if even for the 150th anniversary monument, we showcase a world-class sports complex that the Brazil national team or anybody like Lizzie's complex can come and train there, or we can have an athletic event, West Africa Games or something. I believe that MOBA that was set up in 1947, that will be 180 years in 2027. We have not even said anything about celebrating MOBA 80 years, but we are talking about 150 years for the school. So let's think about it. And we present our sports complex. I think we would have achieved. And we can be earning something from, we can commercialize it. Now, we've talked about the endowment fund. Now, in 2016, at National Council, we approved for the establishment of an endowment. Actually, December 3rd, 2015, our last council meeting, we approved it. It has not been set up yet. And let me tell you how the endowment fund can help us with this any asset issue that I'm talking about. The fund will be independent of NEC. It's a trust, which will be managed by trustees that will own the assets of the fund in trust for whoever the members are. They can engage in commercial activities on behalf of MOBA. They can run a convention center. I'm talking about financial governance, around all the things we have been talking about. And if we want to go that route, a sports complex and a convention center, or whatever we want to do, it is the MOBA fund, as Article 11 of the Constitution has empowered us to establish. They can engage, and then they can hold those assets, and then they can do something for us. So, all that we are talking about, old boys, they're good ideas, but if the governance are both financial and the school. Look, do you know that when we handed over our project, there was a time that the school was not using it. They were still using the old basketball court around Battersea. Do you know what I was told? The headmaster said we didn't hand over to him. Oh, I just spent millions and over. I was so disappointed. But it's because the governance structure of the school is broken down. If we all consider ourselves as stakeholders and we inculcate or we invoke the governance structure of the school to take care of whatever assets we are putting there, I think we can have a good engagement.
So did you go and hand over to him? To the headmaster?
Oh, I left it to Ebushapenyi. I left it to Ebushapenyi. Because I was upset. And I told Ebushapenyi that it should handle it.
It just shows that there are a lot of tracks still to cover.
Governance issue
there are a lot of bases to cover. But the good thing is that we have a very vibrant old boys association, which can only grow and become better. So I will end my session. Tomorrow will be, I believe, will be more exciting, because tomorrow will be those who will be voted for. But you have met Doc, who taught when I was in school. You have met David, who was not in school when I was in school. Well, yeah, Form 1 when I say upper 6. Why do you make me sound so old? And, you know, you see what an actuary does. He has figures and numbers in front of him. I kind of feel sorry for the next Mfantsipim. Then there's James, former athlete, former footballer, landsman. So if you're looking at land and property, we have a good person there. And then the consultant, Daniel. I think that these people were cut out to be unopposed. Then we have various relevant professions in the leadership of NEC, and we can only hope for better things to come. Thank you all very much for coming, for Asbury Dunwell and the Methodist headquarters for providing this room, all the media facilities. I believe MOBA is very grateful for all of it. Can I end it now? Thank you for watching, as many people as watched. Let's make it a date tomorrow, and then let's hear from the prospective Mfantsipim and from all those that we were required to vote for. Thank you all for your attention. Thank you for your time. God bless you all. Thank you.